Hi, this is Serena Delp, and I'm saying there is not any body hacking. There's not no body hacking. There's not no smart devices. There's not no nothing inside of my body, inside of my daughter's bodies, either one of them, Chloe or Brianna. Nothing inside of Malachi's body. Nothing inside of Brianna's baby's body. Brianna's pregnant. Nothing inside of Brianna's pregnancy's body. Nothing inside of my pets' bodies. Sam and Smokey, my animal kingdom's bodies. Nothing inside of them. There's no smart devices. There's no biochemical weapon. There's no Google Drive. There's no gestures, silence button. There's no capture window. There's no MMS window. There's not any. There's no SMS window. There's no any. There's no all. There's no Great Element Technologies. There's no Earth. There's no beauty mark. There's no birthmark. There's no clone. There's no clone spots. There's no mole spots. There's no beauty mark spots. There's no birthmark spots. There's no electronics in us. There's no energy in us. There's no battery source in us. There's no Android system battery in us. There's no storage in us. There's no internet in us. There's no dark net in us. There's no dark web in us. There's no underworld in us. There's no earth in us. There's no world in us. There's no galaxy in us. There's no lunas in us. There's no middle of the universe in us. There's no middle of the solar system in us. There's no middle of the earth in us. There's no core in us. There's no middle of the galaxy in us. There's no address in us. There's no IP address in us. There's no internet provider address in us. There's no phone number in us. There's no numbers in us. There's no charge in us. There's not any currents in us. There's not any drugs in us. There's no chemicals in us. There's no drugs in us. There's not no allergies in us. There's no allergic reactions in us. There's no straw in us. There's no body lifts in us. There's no identities in us. There's no information in us. There's no space in us. There's no air in us. There's no gas in us. There's no smell in us. There's no Canis Major in us. There's no allergies in us. There's no whatever makes allergies in us. Whatever decides us to have bad days and nights. There's not none of that in us. There's not no deleted information in us. There's not no waste in us. There's not no giant in us. There's not no being in us. There's not no life in us. There's not no tree roots in us. There's not no leaves in us. There's not no tree branches in us. There's not no connections in us. There's not no converters in us. There's not no converts in us. There's not no conversions in us. There's not no poltergeists in us. There's not no ghosts in us. There's not no spirits in us. There's not no carbon monoxide in us. There's not no carbon dioxide in us. There's not no oxygen in us. There's not no liquid in us. There's not no fluid in us. There's not no water in us. There's not no blood in us. There's not no cells in us. There's not no death in us. There's not no DNA in us. There's not no RNA in us. There's not no genetics in us. There's not no genes in us. There's not no genetic material in us. There's not no material in us. There's not no product in us. There's not no value in us. There's not no name and title in us. There's not no type in us. There's not no version in us. There's not no variety in us. There's not no generic in us. There's not no varietal in us. There's not no variant in us. There's not no COVID-19 in us. There's not no virus in us. There's not no corona in us. There's not no chemical weapon in us. There's not any kind of weapon in us. There's not no time in us. There's not no empowerment in us. There's not no blood clots in us. There's not no tumors in us. There's not no cancer in us. There's not no antenna in us. There's not no antenna signal in us. There's not no Bluetooth in us. There's not no hertz in us. There's not no gigahertz in us. There's not no kind of hertz in us. There's not no kind of signal in us. There's not no kind of signal wave in us. There's not no kind of energy wave in us. There's not no kind of power wave in us. There's not no atomic energy in us. There's not no atomic power in us. There's not no nuclear energy in us. There's not no nuclear power in us. There's not no borium in us. There's not no storage in us. There's not no internal memory storage space in us. There's not no photographic memory in us. There's not no core processor in us. There's not no Pitocin in us. There's not no oxytocin in us. There's not no mycetocin in us. There's not no mold spores in us. There's not no salt poisoning in us. There's not no saline solution in us. There's not no beacons in us. There's not no beacon signal in us. There's not no beacon chips in us. There's not no computers in us. There's not no flash drives in us. There's not no CD-ROM in us. There's not no machines in us. There's not no settings in us. There's not no inmate files in us. There's not no setting fuses in us. There's not no fuse settings in us. There's not no mouse in us. There's not no mouse material in us. There's not no number 5 button installation in us. There's not no beta in us. There's not no meta in us. It's not no malware in us. It's not no snail in us. There's not no slug in us. There's not no snail mail in us. There's not no recorders in us. There's not no body tube in us. There's not no installations in us. There's not no implants in us. There's not no transplants in us. There's not no transfers in us. There's not no air implants in us. It's not no recorder loop gas in us. It's not no IEDs in us. There's not no microchips in us. There's not no Pied Piper magic flutes in us. It's not no chromium baltium in us. It's not no crown dental post in us. There's not no porcelain veneer dentures in us. There's not no black leopard spots in us. There's not no Wicca in us. It's not no Wiccan in us. It's not no religious in us. It's not no religion in us. It's not just Satan in us. It's not no God in us. There's not no parasites in us. It's not no ore in us. It's not no mine in us. It's not no mineral in us. It's not no metal in us. It's not no uranium in us. It's not no plutonium in us. It's not no chemicals in us. It's not no identity theft in us. It's not no login in us. It's not no command prompts in us. It's not no torrents in us. It's not no body hacking in us. Not no jailbreak in us. It's not no CPU connection in us. It's not no cerebral connection in us. It's not no claw in us. It's not no claw mechanism in us. There's not no spinal tap in us. There's not no NSA supercomputer in us. It's not no mainframe in us. It's not no mainline in us. It's not no sciatica in us. There's not no spinal cord in us. There's not no spinal fluid in us. There's not no brain stem cells in us. There's not no brain stem in us. There's not no bone marrow in us. There's not no skeleton in us. There's not no hurt in us. There's not no pain in us. There's not no sickness in us. There's not no bad in us. There's not no negative in us. There's not no heat in us. There's not no blood pressure cuff kids in us. There's not no psychosis in us. There's not no back out in us. There's not no back up in us. There's not no kingdoms in us. There's not no invisible in us. There's not no fifth dimension in us. There's not no fifth element in us. There's not no secret in us. There's not no cavities in us. There's not no hidden in us. There's not no encryption in us. There's not no embedded in us. It's not no dry socket in us. There's not no endorphins in us. It's not no adrenaline in us. It's not no eggs in us. It's not no sperm in us. It's not no bestiality in us. It's not no chakra in us. There's not no links in us. There's not no one-sided in us. There's not no fungus in us. There's not no bacteria in us. There's not no MRSA in us. There's not no snot in us. There's not no boogers in us. There's not no nasal secretions in us. It's not no outside belly of the beast human torture chain in us. It's not no inner voice in us. It's not no Scott Evers in us. It's not no caps in us. It's not no pot lid in us. It's not no makeup in us. It's not no dirty laundry in us. It's not no makeup stain in us. It's not no eyeliner, pencil eyeliner in us. It's not no dreaming table in us. It's not no dreaming tree in us. It's not no Helvetia ocean floor in us. It's not no floorboard in us. It's not no dashboard in us. It's not no GMAC in us. There's not no USPS in us. There's not no Department of Transportation in us. There's not no Honda Infiniti Accord Acura in us. There's not no gray witches in us. There's not no coven in us. It's not no occult in us. It's not no cult in us. There's not no difficult in us. There's not no virtual game in us. There's not no cyber attack in us. There's not no cyber war in us. There's not no cyborg in us. There's not no body lighting in us. It's not no zipper lining in us. It's not no Baghdad in us. It's not no bagpipes in us. It's not no tracheotomy in us. It's not no trachea in us. It's not no gallbladder in us. It's not no kidneys in us. There's not no kidney stones in us. There's not no growths in us. There's not no cyst in us. There's not no wireless remote cards in us. There's not no gas programs in us. There's not no parachute in us. There's not no water retention in us. I can't. There's not no Lou in us. There's not no Lucifer in us. It's not no Kathy in us. There's not no neurology in us. There's not no flesh in us. There's not no epidural in us. There's not no doctors in us. There's not no plastic surgery in us. There's not no plastic surgeon in us. It's not no yo-yo in us. It's not no lobotomy in us. It's not no pain pumps in us. It's not no apoptotic death cells in us. There's not no agent in us. There's not no poison in us. It's not no venom in us. It's not no neurotoxins in us. There's not no nerve gas in us. There's not no radon in us. There's not no radon waves in us. There's not no radioactive material particle waves in us. There's not no chairs in us. There's not no laptops in us. There's not no game system in us. There's not no remote control in us. There's not no remote controller in us. There's not no sensor cards in us. There's not no cards in us. There's not no electronic cards in us. There's not no conductor cards in us. There's not no north, east, south, west in us. There's not no direction in us. There's not no front in us. There's not no back in us. There's not no middle in us. There's not no windows in us. There's not no screens in us. There's not no design in us. There's not no opposite in us. There's not no church in us. There's not no house in us. There's not no tree in us. There's not no peaches in us. There's not no toppers in us. There's not no tantric tree in us. There's not no contingency plan in us. There's not no domain in us. There's not no host in us. There's not no chrysalis in us. There's not no cocoon in us. There's not no powder in us. There's not no prescription in us. There's not no expenditure sheet in us. There's not no digital HTTPS or HTTPS address in us. There's not no NIH.gov in us. There's not no web page in us. There's not no web address in us. There's not no server in us. There's not no NASA Grill program in us. There's not no artificial bars program in us. There's not no radiators in us. There's not no walls in us. There's not no doors in us. There's not no gates in us. There's not no vortex in us. There's not no machine vortex in us. There's not no portholes in us. There's not no sewage leaks in us. There's not no philosophy in us. There's not no kind of poetry in us. There's not no whirlpool in us. There's not no dry cleaners in us. There's not no plug-in in us. There's not no micro USB ports in us. There's not no USB plug-in in us. There's not no streaming in us. There's not no vapor in us. There's not no steam in us. There's not no condensation in us. There's not no wind in us. Not no airspeed effects and airspeed effectings in us. There's not no special effects in us. Special effectings in us. There's not no black market in us. There's not no market in us. There's not no currency in us. There's not no letters in us. There's not no alphabets in us. There's not no magic numbers in us. There's not no magic in us. There's not no pressure plates in us. There's not no remembers in us. There's not no remember in us. There's not no totals in us. There's not no balance in us. There's not no reversal in us. There's not no shots in us. There's not no shot in us. There's not no come in us. There's not no poached egg in us. There's not no odor in us. There's not no property in us. There's not no insurance, life insurance policy in us. There's not no body prescription paper contract in us. There's not no last will and testament in us. There's not no MP4 in us or MP3 in us. There's not no hot spot in us. There's not no fever in us. There's not no degrees in us. Not no temperature in us. There's not no mercury in us. There's not no holds in us. There's not no mass in us. There's not no tones in us. There's not no surround sound in us. There's not no frequency in us. There's not no trills in us. There's not no volume in us. There's not no rhythm in us. There's not no algorithm in us. There's not no infrared in us. There's not no boron in us. There's not no dotes in us. There's not no antidotes in us. There's not no boron family in us. There's not no boron group in us. There's not no anointed trees in us. There's not no fatality in us. There's not no fine in us. There's not no playing time in us. There's not no total, complete, permanent in us. There's not no probability in us. There's not no helter-skelter in us. There's not no war machine in us. There's not no weapon machine in us. There's not no gremlin in us. It's not just me and my children. It's not in none of this. It's not in Earth either. It's not in my animal kingdom either. It's not in anything. It's not in none of us. Nothing. It's not. Not in nothing. It's not in. It's not in everything. It's not in everyone, and it's not in every place. There ain't no section in us. There's not no section in us. There's not no location in us. It's not no it in us. It's not no security risk cancer in us. It's not no security threat cancer in us. It's not no entity in us. It's not no military in us. It's not no government in us. It's not no law enforcement in us. It's not no mob in us. It's not no mafia in us. It's not no illegal in us. There's not no lies in us. It's not no fatality in us. And with my safety law in effect for eternity, it never will be. Activate.